We thought that we were going to get into that transition home phase. It was a very obvious choice for us, knowing that D-pad homes, as in me, I was building a duplex property, which could have very well easily been our home. But in a walkout home, it doesn't feel like a basement, because what a walkout home is essentially is you come down into the basement and there's doors and large windows at the back, which gives you access directly to your backyard.
You can walk out into the backyard. Yeah.
My dad actually taught us this quite well. Nothing will be 100%. It'll be 70, 75, maybe even 80% if you're lucky. But the last 20%, you have to grow to love the last 20%. Hi, I'm D-pad, a family man, entrepreneur, home builder, a cricket fanatic, and a collector of memorabilia. Please join me in this journey of life with D-pad. Welcome back to another episode on Life with D-pad. Today, we have the beautiful, the lovely, my wife, Unnati, on our episode. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You made an appearance after quite some time.
More than just my hand is here today, you guys.
How are you feeling?
I'm excited.
Today is going to be a fun episode as we're going to continue our dream home series in a way, where we're going to talk about decisions on making your lot purchase. It's not as simple as just going out and buying a piece of land and start building on it. I think there's so many more factors that go in play. But before we get into all of that, to recap, if you're just joining this episode and you haven't watched the previous ones, we spoke about how we disclosed to our parents the big move that we were moving out, getting our own place. Unnati and I, we thought that, this was a good time that we took the next step, became more independent, learned how to run a home.
Adulting at 30. I hope you guys like the image that Drupad made of him in like a little stroller. My absolute favorite.
Second episode, we covered more details about, how you can start saving for an emergency fund, saving for a down payment. We're doing 20% down payment for our first home. I use Excel to make a detailed budget sheet of all the expenses that we're not paying living with our parents.
It's alarming.
And that we're about to start paying once we move. And we also covered talking to a mortgage broker, getting a pre-approval, so you really find out how much home you can afford.
The last thing you need is your home owning you instead of you owning your home.
That's a great way. Yeah. That's a great way of putting that. Yeah. We're going to talk about lot purchasing. So now that could vary depending on what your family needs are, what stage you're in. If you're transitioning, for your careers are just getting started, and this home is going to be for you to live in maybe for the next 2, 3, or 5 years.
You could want a long-term home. Maybe this is, your second or third home, or a first home that you're planning on staying in from 7 to 10 to 15 years. Or it could be an investment property. Maybe you're out of town and you're hoping to invest in a city. Or really you already have your own home and you're buying another one as a rental income.
We thought that we were going to get into that transition home phase. It was a very obvious choice for us, knowing that D-pad homes, as in me, I was building a duplex property. It was a beautiful lot.
It was a beautiful lot.
Right.
It had a really nice backyard and backing lots of green space. It was one of our favorite styles of homes that D-pad homes built.
Yeah, it's one of our most successful models. It has the open to below. If we wanted to move in that home, it would have worked out perfectly.
Really close to family. It really does seem like, hey, why didn't you guys move there? Right? I know.
Our family here, we have moved in the last 15 years, maybe 4 times. And moving is not easy. And a home takes at least 5-6 years before it becomes a home. Yeah. Until then, it's just a house. You need to really set it up, add decor, make it your own, get some dents on the walls.
Settle in, really, right? Yeah.
It takes a few years. And what did we decide?
Yeah, so we decided we were gonna go a different route. We wanted to go the long-term home route. So my parents have lived in the home that I grew up in for coming close to 15 years. Not 15 yet, but coming close to it. And you really can tell it's a real home. They've lived in it. There's a couple dents on the walls. We've had some great memories. So we decided that we would go that route because ideally we would like to have kids in a couple years. And we figured, having kids and then moving with our kids from one place to another, we didn't want to do that.
Don't forget the puppy.
And the puppy.
We have a dog wash already built.
We have a customary dog name that we use between the two of us. That one's a secret.
Let's not announce that yet. I'm not sold on it fully. A term that goes around quite a bit when buying lots is building pocket.
Yeah.
What do you know about building pocket?
Building pocket. Ooh, see you guys, this is how you'll know I'm the nurse of this relationship. But building pocket, how big the lot pocket is tells you what size of a home you can build, right? So there's like 24, 26, 30, you know, it goes up. Some people are lucky enough to have acreage homes. That's a huge lot pocket size. But am I right?
You are right. So in Edmonton, what we're recently seeing is the lots aren't overly big, which I'm kind of upset about. I don't know why the developers, they're making the lots quite skinny, quite close to your neighbors. Maybe they're maximizing their profits, but I really wish we had larger lots. But right now, the most common lots that I see are 26 to 30 pockets. Now, what a pocket means, if it's a 26 pocket home, you can make a home that's 26 feet wide. And then we have to leave 4 feet on either side from the property line. So you have a walkway to go to the backyard and so on, basically. You can't build right up to your property line unless
I was gonna say.
unless you have something called a zero lot line. Now, in a zero lot line lot, those are the most affordable types of single family homes here in Edmonton, maybe in other parts of Canada as well, is zero lot line single family homes. One side of your home sits directly on the property line. So you have no yard space for one side. You have lack of privacy. You cannot put windows on the sides of the home when you have a zero lot line. And the reason you cannot have windows, from my understanding, I have not built any zero lot line homes. From my understanding, I believe it's for, well, I guess for privacy and for fire safety, I believe.
Okay.
They don't want any fire going through the window and spreading to the house next door.
And I mean, makes sense. The space in between the two homes is so less that you really wouldn't even get any sunlight or have a purpose for a window.
Yeah, so I think in those homes, home builders maximize the window usage from the front and the back of the home to get as much natural light as possible in the home. There's different types of lots, such as walkout lots. A walkout home is essentially you come down into the basement and there's doors and large windows at the back, which gives you access directly to your backyard.
Yeah, you can walk out into the backyard. Yeah.
And your main level, which in the front is at the ground level, but as you come to the back, your main floor has a deck which is about 9 to 10 feet above the ground.
Yep.
So that's what a walkout lot is. Most commonly, walkout lots, they back onto ponds, green space, ravines at times.
Yep.
Now, what kind of lot did we get?
We have a walkout lot in the property that we're buying as well. We have a wonderful lake, really.
You know, and we have to say we got lucky. Friends from the industry who really, really hooked us up with this beautiful, beautiful lot. Anytime we take our family, friends to this site, that's all they could say. You know, they all love it. They all love the view. Another thing we looked at was cul-de-sac lots. Why were cul-de-sac lots important to us?
The biggest reason cul-de-sac lots were important to us is, like we shared in the past, we're hoping to have kids in the near future. We're going to have a pet, and really it gives us the ability of that added security and safety. The only reason that any other cars would really come in is either if they're making a U-turn or if they already live in that neighborhood.
So you have much less traffic. We've heard from other people who own cul-de-sac lots, they say they can let their kids play outside freely without being stressed, without being worried. We're not planning to have our kids play in the front too much.
No, we're...
Well, at least it's an added piece of safety in our mind.
One thing that I really look forward to is kind of that picturesque idea, right? Like you and your neighbors get along, you're kind of on the same timeline. So it would be absolutely amazing if we could set up like a basketball net in the middle of the cul-de-sac and all the kids could play together. It's my ideal American movie dream.
There are a couple of drawbacks though when it comes to cul-de-sac lot. And this one bugged me quite a bit for quite some time initially, right? Yeah. I always wanted a rectangular lot which was straight, flat, but this one is a cul-de-sac lot and no lots in the cul-de-sac can be straight. They're all pie-shaped lots. What that means is they're narrow at the front and they get wider as you go to the backyard. The backyard is beautiful, nice and big, but the front of the house sometimes can get too narrow. There's also minimal street parking. So when our friends come over, they'll have to find parking ways away, but that's okay. We'll feed them with good food. So, you know, they can get a walk in after dinner.
And we're lucky enough that we have a park close by to us, which means that the park has parking on either sides. So for really the positives of extra safety for the kids and less traffic, you kind of have to put up with the lack of parking.
There will always be plus and minuses. My dad actually taught us this quite well, that even in relationships, even in a job, nothing will be 100%. It'll be 70, 75, maybe even 80% if you're lucky. But the last 20%, you have to grow to love the last 20%. Other types of single family lots include acreages. Now that's something we have worked on before.
Absolutely.
If you guys followed along on Alex and Melissa's build journey. Yeah. So on an acreage, your options are endless. Basically, you can build whatever size home you want. The best thing I love about acreages are those big trees.
Absolutely.
Land is something that I really love. I love that privacy you get for an acreage. Nobody's really close to you. The big trees. Yeah. I remember on Alex and Melissa's house, they had maybe
a parameter, just
a parameter of trees. They had a whole forest at the back, their own personal forest. That was amazing. That's definitely a dream, but that could be a con for some people in terms of safety. I remember, we having to do a fence around the whole house perimeter in order to keep any wild animals, any trespassers from coming in the home, in your lot, because really at nighttime, you can't see much because there's no street lights.
Yeah, I feel like safety could be an issue. I think another thing is depending, again, it goes back to the beginning, right? The purpose of you buying your home. So for us, the purpose was for us to grow and our family to grow in this home. So if you have young children, then sometimes it can be difficult for you to get to and from the city, for you to go to school. A lot of times the grocery stores and things like that are a little bit at a distance. So it really depends on what the purpose of your home is and if you're comfortable with a little bit of an extra travel time.
You said it, you put it perfectly. It comes down to what your family's needs are. I think one day, we also want to go to an acreage, maybe in our time of retirement, get a couple of horses, cows.
Guys, I've been talking about horses and cows, so the fact that he's saying this, now we have it on video. Now it's proof.
Let's get the dog first, and then
we'll move. Dog will hurt all the animals. This is where it starts. I like this growth. Okay.
Edmonton, we have something called infill lots,
which are absolutely amazing, really. It gives you the ability to build a home in an area that has already been established, a neighborhood that is a little bit more mature. But what you get to do is buy the lot, remove the home if it's not already been removed, the older home, and build a brand spanking new home in a mature neighborhood.
Infill lots right now, they're about 50 feet wide. Most lots today are about 34 feet wide, maximum 38 feet wide. Those are 50 feet wide. They're 150 feet deep. They have big trees.
So some of our infill homes in our city here, what they do is they'll take the land and then they build a fourplex and then they rent it out. So it's that's how much room there is in that infill space that you can really rent it out to 4 homeowners.
And infill homes, the whole purpose is that it's central of the city. It's close to, places like your colleges, your universities. That's what our areas are. They're close to downtown. If that's what suits your life, say if somebody's working downtown every day, if all their business is there, that could be ideal. It does come with a heavy price tag though.
Oh, it does.
Infill lots, it's for investors mostly. They get that 50-foot wide lot, they split it in 2 and build 2 homes or 4 homes like you said, and they sell it or rent it out. It's really great for your ROI if you're an investor. Location is the key. You have to consider that based on your lifestyle, what amenities do you need around your new home? I know, Unnati, you touched on it a little bit when we talked about acreages to what kind of amenities an average homeowner is looking for.
Yeah, picking a location is really important. One of the biggest things to keep in mind is what stage of your life are you in? Are you in a retirement stage? Is your family still growing? Do you have flexibility? Are you okay with travel time? And once you've kind of assessed some of those basic things, you can decide your location. One of the important things for me was commute to and from work. Drupad has the flexibility that he can work from home, and really our DPAD home sites are all varying across the city anyways. Another important factor for us was schools and extracurriculars for kids. So we wanted to make sure we were in an area that would either in the future have a school nearby or already does. And we're lucky enough that we were able to, again, shout out to the person who got us the lot, because apparently there's a new school that's opening up around there. So
2 schools.
2 schools
that are opening up there.
Right.
along with a rec center.
With the rec center and an LRT and something else that's really important is making sure that your shopping complexes, your groceries, your doctor's offices, your dentists, all of those are nearby. A lot of the times we need eggs and we need them now. So, it's good to have those kind of places close by. I would say the most important thing for us was to be close to friends and family. Biggest thing is our family. Our parents, so our in-laws and my parents live a skip and a hop away from each other, and a lot of our family lives in the surrounding area, and we didn't want to stray too far away from them.
100%. We wanted to be within close distance. Also, because just the fact that we're moving away was already a shocker. Yeah. Now, if we said we were moving to a different city, if we're moving to Calgary 3 hours away, it might have not been approved. So I think
our selling feature. Let's say it was our selling feature.
Our biggest,
we wanted to stay close.
Of course, right? But yeah, it definitely helps because in case of an emergency, your parents are getting older. In case of an emergency, you want to be close to them as much as possible, right? You want to be easily accessible. Another thing that we should look at, again, I always think as an investor mindset, I'm always thinking, will we be able to resell this home? Will we be able to sell it quickly and for a good price? So I always ask the question, how are the sales in this area? Don't go and talk to a salesperson of that area. Talk to a realtor who can give you a report for that neighborhood. And all the amenities that Unnati just talked about, you can easily find these things on the community, neighborhood plans that the developer has out there or the builder in the area has out there. They are trying to advertise these things that,
Absolutely.
We are close, the schools are coming here, there's a park here, bus stations coming here. They are looking to advertise all those things. So make sure you do full research, look into all of them, and make sure that this area checks off all the boxes for your family. So these are all the factors that one can consider before making the final decision to buy the lot of their dream. But before you go lot hunting, make sure to watch episode number 2, which was on budget, because you will need to know how much home you can afford. So it gives you an idea how much lot you can afford, really. Based on that, you'll be able to go and see the types of home that are within your price range, types of lots, types of neighborhoods, and really it'll make your lot hunting much more efficient. In one of our future videos, we will be covering our design process. And no. Not sitting down with a home builder or sitting down with a designer. That's not just yet. There's some more homework that you should do before you go see them, and that's what we will cover in an upcoming video. Really hope that you enjoyed and found value in this episode.
If you guys have any questions or if there's something that we talked about that you're more curious on, please leave us a comment and we would love to talk about this more.
Thank you so much.